Quisero constituency in Kakamega. I think ODM was number 9, UD was number 10. We emerged victorious. And what it means is that, since we formed DCP was formed just the other day. It's only 7 months old. It's a very young party. But out of the 24 by-elections, we won 3. And to shame our detractors, William Ruto and company, they have been spreading propaganda that DCP is a tribal party, it's a party for the mountain. We won in Quisero. Quisero is 600 kilometers from the mountain. There are no mountain people who live in Kakamega. It's the Luya nation who live there. We won here in Nairobi in a cosmopolitan environment where all communities are. We won here in Nairobi. In Narok, our candidate was a Ma. It was not a Kikuyu. And the Ma people and the other communities that live there, subscribe to the philosophy of DCP, of listening to the people. Our party is listening to the ground. And what I want to say is that the by-elections give DCP an opportunity to show its national outlook, its acceptance across Kenya. And this is the party to watch, I can tell you.
Yep.
And we've just come in. That was a very strong showing for a young party. But as I told you, this was a small dance.
Yeah.
We are looking forward to the main dance.
As we look forward to the main dance, Mr. Gachagua, one would say in areas that you performed very well, you've heaped praise on the performance. That means it is an election as well that was carried out by IEBC. The areas that the United Opposition performed poorly, you say that election was rigged. One would say that is double speak because it is the very same institution that carried out the election.
I am not saying the election was conducted well we won. In Narok, it is the resilience of the Narok people that made that election happen. The officer commanding police station Narok was forced by the DIG to surrender command to Bete Maina, the women rep for Murang'a, and he said no. He was transferred to Turkana. You can check. The OCS Narok was transferred on the 24th, 2 days before the elections, because he was being told to cede police command to a member of parliament, and he said he cannot. The woman representative of Murang'a took over the police command in Narok. She's the one who was commanding police operations. And she unleashed terror to the people of Narok town. People were beaten up. People were injured. But the people were resilient. And especially when I went there, forcibly, when the police were stopping me, when live ammunition was fired at my car, when stones were ringing on me, and I was very brave and courageous, I give people the impetus and the courage that they should not be intimidated. We won the election, but it was not a free and fair environment. It's really people fought, and exactly this is what will happen in the general election. I have no doubt in my mind. Kenyans will not agree to be suppressed by goons and police in 2027. I have no doubt in my mind. What I saw in Narok is what we want to encourage across the country. In Kariobangi, there was a lot of violence and voter suppression. But the people there were determined. They wanted to elect a leader whom they want, and they did it. In Kisa, there was a lot of violence. So I am not saying that in areas where DCP won, it was a fair contest. It wasn't. They won against many odds. In fact, in Narok, if there was no voter suppression, our candidate who got 6,000 votes would have gotten 12,000. But there was a lot of voter suppression. Intimidating women and young people to make sure that they don't go to vote. So what I'm saying is, why I'm not worried as a leader in this country, it is possible to intimidate people in a by-election using goons and police. It is not possible to do so during the general election. There are no enough goons to intimidate people in the country. Every goon will be in his constituency, and he will be dealt with by the local people. The police will have no capacity to escort goons to cause mayhem, because in a general election you need 2 police officers in every polling station. We have 45,000 polling stations in Kenya. You need 90,000 police officers. They are never enough. In fact, they borrow manpower from KWS and KFS. So what I'm saying, and I want to assure the people of Kenya, there will be no police officers to escort goons to come and intimidate you. So deal with the goons, and they will be dealt with, I can tell you. Even these goons are only a problem because they have police escort who have guns, who have live ammunition. If the goons were trying to intimidate the people of Kenya on their own, they will be dealt with by the people of Kenya. But Kenyans, start back a little bit, because normally they are backed. Like when we were at Kariobangi, when we went to celebrate our candidate, Wanyoike, for winning the Kariobangi North seat, the goons came to church, but they were driven away by the Christians, only for them to come back under police escort. Police backed them with bullets, with tear gas. Police were tear gassing children and the clergy so that they can create confusion and allow the guns to attack our people. But if the police keep away, goons are not a challenge in this country. They will be dealt with by the people of Kenya in a very, very, very expeditious manner. So I want to assure the people that what they saw during the by-election is not possible in a general election. Nobody has that capacity during a general election to cause mayhem, to intimidate people, to do voter suppression. I can tell you the people of Kenya will make sure that voting is orderly, there is no disruption, there is no voter suppression, there is no interference. The people of Kenya will do so.
Mr. Gachagua, you said that in areas where you participated in election and lost, you would not be going to court. And in other areas where, say, DP in Bahari, that is, you've distanced yourself, whether they want to go to court, yes or no. But how then do you distance yourself from united opposition if all along you have been speaking the same language? Is it a question of where I did not have a member, it is none of my business? How then does that speak in terms of united opposition and how united it is? Every
party is distinct. We are united in purpose, in terms of getting a single presidential candidate to face William Ruto. That we are united. But we are not united in the nitty-gritties and the day-to-day operations of every political party. I went to Bahari to help the Democratic Party, but they are in charge of their own operations. The DP leader, Justin Muturi, has told me they are going to court, and I wish them well. And it's important that they do.
Would you support him as it goes to
court? I don't need to support. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, so I cannot help. But I think they should go to court, because what happened in Bahari is unacceptable. From my own view, the UDA candidate would not garner more than 5,000 votes. There was a lot of voter bribery. There was a lot of coercion of elderly women and men who are recipients of the cash transfer program. About 7,000 elderly people in Bahari were intimidated by chiefs, by Nyumba Kumi, by elders, that if they don't vote for UDA, their money will be discontinued. So they went to vote for that candidate under duress. And I want to tell our elderly, this cash transfer program is not a gift from William Ruto. It is money that is voted for by the National Assembly. It is appropriated. It is your right as elderly citizens to receive this money. And it does not depend on the goodwill of William Ruto for you to continue receiving this money. I want to tell them as we go to the general election, because the chiefs were caught the other day and told of the success of Bahari and Malava, how the chiefs and Nyumba Kumi intimidated elderly people who received the cash transfer program to vote for the UDA candidate. And they were told to replicate the same across the country. Let me ask our people to tell their mothers and their fathers that fund, that program, is not a gift by William Ruto to the elderly people. It is a government program. These are funds that are voted for and appropriated in the National Assembly. They are from public funds, and they don't have to vote for William Ruto or his candidates for them to continue receiving that. In fact, if I'm elected president, and I think I will, I intend to increase that fund from 2,000 to 5,000, because it's not enough. In fact, other than threatening these elderly people that if they don't vote for William Ruto, he will discontinue the program, what myself I'm telling them is that we must increase that fund from 2,000 to 5,000 to be able to help the old people. And it's their right. Even when they vote for me, it's not a favor. It is their right as senior citizens in this country. And these are public funds. They are not from the president. They are not from his farm. They are not from his pocket. These are public funds. So our people should not be intimidated that if they don't vote for William Ruto in 2027, as the chiefs have been directed to go and threaten them. And I want to ask them to ignore those threats. And we'll be telling them the following 1 year, the whole of 2026, where we go, we'll be telling the elderly people, please, you must cast your vote where you want. You should not be intimidated by government that if you don't vote for William Ruto or UDA candidates, that this fund where you are given 2,000 shillings every month can be discontinued.
Now, so let's remain a little bit in Bahari, and I want to look at a situation where, as you talk about the mountain, you have packaged yourself to be, one would say, the kingpin or the spokesperson of the mountain. And we look at the by-election and how much effort was put in the mountain, especially to win the Bahari seat. But to look at the results of the by-election, and one would say, seems as if Gachagua does not have the hold of mountain, that the people have spoken otherwise, despite you coming out saying that you have mountain by your side, but results
I am
show
not
otherwise.
saying, I don't want to say I have the mountain. The people of the mountain listen to me. And what happened in Bahari is not a yardstick. To start with, UDA did not win that seat. I can tell you for free. Yeah, that election was buggered. UDA spent over 800 million bribing people. Ministers were there, PSs, heads of parastatals, goons. Even those people who are saying that they won, that they defeated us. Yes, they defeated us in bribing people, in stealing public funds to bribe people. That they defeated us. And they beat us hands down because, one, we cannot steal public funds. We have no capacity. We have no capacity, and we are also not thieves. Number two, they beat us in sending goons to beat their own kinsmen. That one they beat us, as we have no capacity to mobilize goons to beat our people. You know, we can't do that even if it's an election. I regard Gachagua can never, mobilize goons to beat the people of Bahari. These are my kinsmen. So what they beat us in is use of public funds to bribe people, voter suppression using goons and violence, where ministers were beating women. That's that one they beat us, we agree. But on the actual vote, they lost. And I don't want to dwell too much on it. And I also want to tell those people, William Ruto doesn't understand the mountain. And these young boys who hang around him are juveniles. They don't understand the mountain. If they took time to study the history of Bahari, they will not be all over yapping and celebrating. Bahari North is a constituency that was called Chicago. That constituency since 1992. On the presidential vote, they vote with the rest of the mountain. All other elections are a local affair because they have serious issues of clans and other local dynamics that are very unique to them. In the year 2002, Chicago, then Bahari North, today, voted for Mwai Kibaki and Anak 98%. Nobody wanted to hear about Moi and Kanu. Yet the people of Bahari North, Chicago as it was called then, went ahead to elect Justin Muturi and Kanu in 2002. The following election in 2007, they voted for Mwai Kibaki 97% at the PNU. They rejected JB Muturi with PNU and elected Lenny Kevuti and Asafina. In 2013, the people of Bahari North, like the rest of the mountain, they voted for Uhuru Kenyatta under TNA, went ahead to elect Gachagua and Abbas. That's how dynamic it is. All those people in Bahari, including those who voted for the UDA candidate, are one-term people. In matters presidential, the people of Bahari North and Bahari South, they vote with the rest of the mountain. That's why I'm not even bothered myself. It's not even an issue. It's not, as far as I'm concerned, it's not even an issue because I understand the dynamics of those two constituencies and the way they are voting is all the time. But I want to tell you from what happened, UDA can celebrate. It's a forced celebration, even themselves. Even Ruto himself, he knows. If you spend 800 million for 15,000 votes, yeah, a vote is worth almost 60,000. I mean, what are you saying? What are you telling people?
I mean, in that election...
And the opposition did not have money to spend. They have stolen money from nobody. They have no access to public funds. They were just selling policies. They were just selling their candidate. When you spend 800 million in a constituency, that's why I want to tell these UDA fellows, they are celebrating nothing. During the general election, they will be their own. Kila mtu atakuwa kwake, anangangana kwake. Mtu atakuwa Sugoi, there will be no goons to help you. there will be no police to help you. You will have to go and fight your own battle.
In Bahari, as we just wrap up the conversation around that, there is the aspect that is Moses Kuria part of United Opposition, because we saw him present a candidate through Chama cha Kazi. And in your own deduction, would you say that affected in one way or the other?
It did. It did. You see, when the elders of Bahari approached me, it's because of the clan dynamics. Newton Karis and Boy, the one who was in DCP who went to Kuria, come from one clan. And the elders told me, if we have the two candidates, it's not good. You know, the other guy, the one who is said to have won, comes from a different clan. So they asked me to step down this guy so that this clan can have one candidate. And it made a lot of sense because I understand the Bahari people and the clan dynamics. Because I'm from the mountain, I understand those things. So I withdrew the candidate. But then the government approached Kuria. Kuria is part of the Ruto